Hello. Hey, everybody. We're on time. Yay. It's 7 o'clock and we made it. Hi, my name is Linda Murray Bullitt. They call me the business plug. And so tonight we're going to be talking about books and podcasts and everything that's happening out in California. Everything in California is not on fire. Okay. So, against all popular belief, yes, there are some fires. Yes, there are some people going through some things, but everything there is not on fire. And so tonight I have my girl from the West Coast on with me. Hey, Margo.
Hey, Linda, thank you for letting me be here. Oh, this is so good.
So introduce yourself to my audience. So I have entrepreneurs, people in finance, I have people on LinkedIn and people on Facebook. So we're doing two different platforms today. So if you will introduce who you are so they'll get to know the lovely you that I know.
Well, first of all, you're very, very kind. And secondly, I'm Margo Lovett. I am a reinvented podcaster. I left corporate America after 26 years, and it was all about me becoming a podcaster, an entrepreneur, an author. And all three of those things have happened for me. And as everybody knows, that thing of entrepreneurship is ongoing, it's ever growing, and podcasting the same thing. But Linda, I have fallen in love with podcasting. Her business, her voice, her conversation is my baby. I started that up because I want people, when I left corporate America, I couldn't find anybody talking about what I needed to talk about, not
Yeah.
under one umbrella. So I said, well, I knew I wanted to be a podcaster and I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Wasn't really thinking about becoming an author, but that came and it was a blessing. So I created the show that was going to answer the need for baby boomers coming out of corporate so that we have some how-to instruction and some information and a whole lot of inspiration. Because, you know, messing around with corporate, you're an employee and now you're trying to be an entrepreneur. You want to be a podcaster. Well, you did some writing and that type of thing in corporate and presentations, but how do you make all this come together, you know? But I'm
Absolutely.
here to tell you that it can be, it can happen, it will happen. So
It
that's who I
can happen,
am.
and people are actually out here doing it. And that's what it's about. Like in this space of time, if COVID taught us nothing else, it taught us about using those skills that we didn't know we had, or the skills that we don't get to use.
Yeah.
Like to think of alternative ways because we've had time. It's given us time. We were rushing around like mad monkeys, just doing everything all everywhere. Everybody's doing busy, busy, busy. You know, one thing we wanted was one more hour to the 24-hour day. And then COVID happened, and now we got more time than we can deal with, right? Because everything slowed down some.
And I'm so glad. I'm glad about that, Linda. I really am. I am glad that we don't have to speed up. We don't have to deal with that time element unless we want to. Because sometimes I
Exactly.
feel it kind of trying to creep back up on me. And I said, oh,
Mhm.
no, stop that, partner. It's my time to study and to grow. My mentor said, you always perfect your craft. You're always working
Yeah,
on being a
yeah.
podcaster. You're always working on that next book. You're always studying to be an entrepreneur. So that's where I'm at. And I refuse to let time hurry me, push me, busy me the way it did. I felt like I robbed myself. I really
I
do. What about
know.
you, Linda?
You know, COVID taught me how much money I was spending needlessly.
Oh,
It taught me how much time I was doing, just busy, just doing all kind of things. And like I said, it slowed me down. Like it slowed me down to I had more time than I had anything else. And but it allowed me to spend time loving on those who I love. And it's allowed me to get closer to build relationships. And so for that, I am most sincerely grateful. You know, COVID has its challenges, but the thing about it is it slowed us down a pace till we could see what really matters.
true, true.
And I love that. I absolutely love that.
The
Yeah,
world
yeah.
needed that.
I even turned my stove on and start cooking again. And I ain't cooked in 16 years because So now, so now I'm actually having to cook every day. So this has been different, very different, but good in a good way, in a good
Yeah.
way. So yeah, so talk to us about podcasting. So how did it all get started?
Oh boy. I live here in Southern California, and I'll never forget the day. My sister and I were both at because we went together and got the house built. The Lord just blessed us. The opportunity fell in our laps. We went together. We said, it's now or never, out here in sunny California, buying a home. We had that bad boy built. The Lord he just opened up the door. So we're
What
sitting
do
in
you
our
do?
brand new kitchen, girl. I'm praising God every day still. But we were sitting in our brand new kitchen and we're sipping on our coffee and we were just talking about DJing and that type of thing. And Thomasine said, I think I'm going to learn how to do that. I said, girl, me too. I said, there's this school over here in Hollywood. We can go on over there. She said, how do you know about that? I said, I saw an ad about it. We found out we were looking at the same ad. So we said,
Oh,
we jump in the car, go on up there, check it out. If it's not what we want, we can get in our car, no obligation. We're not signing nothing. We ain't saying nothing. We get back in the car. So, girl, you know how it goes. So we went up there and fell in love with it. Now, I lasted the duration of the class. Thomasine lasted 1 month. She said, mm-mm.
it wasn't it. And
Uh-uh,
so you
uh-uh.
know what that reminds me of? My sister and I, we used to start things together like that.
Mm,
And then I would be the one that left. Like she'll be there for years and years, and I'll peel off and do something else because my
yeah.
attention span is a whole nother story. But we've started jobs like that time and time again, where one of us would go or we'll go together, and then only one left standing. Like it's been that way for years. So we have that same chemistry that we do. But yeah, so you went. And because what I hear from people that want to get into podcasting is they don't know what to talk about. Like how they want to make sure it's of interest to the public. How do you narrow down what you should be talking about on a podcast?
First of all, and that's a good question. First of all, where's your passion? Where's your expertise? What do you know? So that if somebody asks you something about such and such and such and such, you're able to go ahead and speak on that. And is that of interest to you? And then I always would do a Google search. If it's of interest to me, is it of interest to somebody else? And most of the time, you put those two things together because nothing's new under the sun.
Come
You're
on.
going to find that you may have a small audience, a small amount of people that will listen, but they'll be loyal listeners because you're
Mhm.
feeding into them. You're speaking their language. And as you know, it doesn't take a whole lot of people to do anything. If
It
there's
doesn't.
consistency and they like you, and as you say, know, like, and trust, it will happen. So don't get caught up with, I got to come up with something that everybody's going to like. You're never going to get started.
Yeah,
So
you'll miss it.
yeah, you will. And some of us have missed the window because this podcasting thing, do you know, since the first of the year, there are over 1 million active live podcasts. Now,
Wow.
we're going to see how many of them make it to the end of the year because, we always start out great guns and then we
Yeah.
kind of do. But still, that's a lot of people to vie for. And that's saying that a lot of people have taken courage to at least throw that bread on the water. So find out what's of interest to you, what you're an expert from, and what are other people interested in, and go for it. You can always
Absolutely.
tweak.
Yeah, yeah, and then that's the thing. So done is better than perfect, right? And
Yeah.
just saying, okay, I'm what you say, cast your bread on the water. Just saying, I'm going in.
Hmm.
I'm going in, and then I'll fix it as I go down. Because what happens is the market will help you fix it. Like they'll see what things you bring of interest, and then they'll like gravitate toward it, right? My son teaches a boys' school, a charter school. He's doing a course, and he was talking about his two things that he loves. He's not into sports, so it never has been. I mean, he's played, but that's not his passion. His passion is his passions are cars and motorcycles. And so he said, well, when I'm talking to the young men, I'm coming from cars and motorcycles. Like and there's somebody that likes something you like, and he just found out one of the kids that has been unreachable by some other people is gravitating for it because guess what he likes? Cars. So there's always somebody out there who likes something similar. I mean, there's 8 billion people in the world. So truly, truly, there's some more people that like what you like, you know? And so, and that's the main thing is to find what test it, right? Test it. So you have your topic and you're thinking about going on. Are they long? Are they short? Was one better than the other? I mean, what do they need to know to get started?
I would not start out thinking that I'm going to put on a 2 hour or an hour show. I would rather, and some people, Linda, you know, when we search, some people out there, they're woo, honey, after 30, I'm good. I may go with you for 45 minutes, an hour. I have been known to do that, but that's taxing it. I always tell people 15 minutes, 30 minutes, because if the content is good, and that's what you're always striving for, is to give the best content. If it's good, people are going to want to double back and listen again. And that's what you want them to do. They're going to go ahead and put in an hour, but 3 or 4 hours on one episode, you girl.
That's a class. That's a whole nother level of stuff. So if you're thinking about podcasting, you want to keep it small, right? I use the whole KISS, like keep it simple. And I won't use the last word, but keep it simple, simple. Okay. Just keep it simple because a lot of times we have so much to say and we just want to get it all in one shot. Like that 3 hours could be like 6 podcasts.
Oh my goodness, you know it.
You could do a series.
Just make up what you want to speak of. And you're so right. You see, I think so many people want to prove themselves. So they want to come out of the gate just blazing saddles and dazzle everybody. And they forget the podcast really is not for you. You built that podcast for somebody else. You built that so that you're giving them the missing piece to a question or a fear. And you're not out to, as my mama say, pop your lips and show everybody your cootie guas. You're trying to go ahead and teach and inspire and inform. And you can do that for a whole year instead of cramming everything in
the one show.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
It's like pound the plate, pound the plate. Think about plate, portion sizes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you guys for joining Dr. Dietrich. I hope I say your name right, Dr. Dietrich. And Jordan, hey Jordan, good to see you, girl. But yeah, so that's one thing because think of it, snackable portions, right? I have a girlfriend that she does a whole lesson in 10 minutes. Like all her podcasts, none of them go over 10 minutes. And that's her snackable bits of encouragement. And so think about what your audience, I love that you said it's not for you. Like a lot of times we think it's my podcast, it's all about me. And it's not, it's for your listeners. Yeah. And giving value, right? How can you give value? So how can you make sure that you give value?
You know what? It's once again, it's if I'm talking about podcasting, or I have a guest coming on and we are dealing with, we are taking a strong look at marketing. I'm going to make sure that that conversation breaks down to, as you say, bite-sized bits, so that if a person is just a startup or there's somebody who's been in marketing for a while and maybe they forgot a particular step, keep it so that you're feeding people good content, keep it nutritious. And you're always going to have somebody, you yourself or your guest, you're giving them another portion on another level. So I found that's just the best way. Never assume that everybody's college level, because vast majority are not. They let a person choose if they want to take on that college level 300 course. You give them the 101, the 201, and let them build up from there. That's always my mind.
I love that. I love that because when you talk about writing, right? When you talk about corresponding, they tell you that if it's going out to the general public at large, then you're not to be over a 6th grade level. Like you should keep it simple, just exactly like you said. And if you're going to a professional business person, then 10th grade.
Mhm.
So, you have to make sure, like, write it out, script it out if you need to, but you need to make sure that it's digestible, right?
Yeah.
Because doing all the feeding and it not being digestible, people can't take it in because it's too up here, over their head. They're like, what is that word? That's a turn off. And
And
so
then
you
they're
make
not
it
going to
just
listen.
right.
They're
Yeah.
not going to listen to you. You're going to, while you're trying to dazzle people and be dazzled, you're going to lose people. And you know what? And I hate that I cut in, but I want to get
No, you
this
good.
thought
Go
in.
with it. Go with it.
There are so many people, and some days I almost feel like crying. I pray instead of just crying because I think of the people that are losing their jobs, the
Mm,
people that should have reinvented but they didn't. I
mm,
think about the people that are furloughed. I think about the boomers that are pushed out, should have made another platform for themselves, but they didn't.
mm,
So I can't afford to have myself or my guests come on and we try to dazzle people.
mm.
People's lives are at stake. Their
Yeah.
livelihoods. After you get past 35 or 40, you got a mortgage. Most folks have
Girl.
a mortgage. You have a family that you need to feed. You can't go with all the stuff that looks real good and fluffy and foo-foo. You need people that are going to give you as not information, I was told, but they transformational information.
Transformational.
Yes.
That's big. That's good stuff. That's
Yes.
really good stuff.
That's it.
Yeah, because right then you need to start digging your space in the sand and starting putting down some anchors, right? So that you can start building and get settled. Like
Yeah.
all the wild years, the 20s, you're jumping from job to job, you're doing all kind of things, you're seeing the world, you're experiencing life, you're doing all these things. But then around, like you said, around 35, you need to start thinking, okay, what's next? Like,
Mhm.
and then how do I prepare for retirement one day, or how do I prepare for my family, or how do I get settled?
Yeah.
And so in doing that, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation for people. But yes, so um when we're talking about the value part, when we're talking about how do you connect with your audience, like the podcast, yeah, you're giving information out, but then how do you connect? How do you reach that one person out there who really needs to hear the transformational information that you're putting out there? How do you connect across the airways with them?
That's hard. In all honesty, that's the hard part. I seem like I'm getting some kind of feedback. Let me check my mic here. Can you still hear me all right?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
fine on this side.
Okay. That's the hard part, Linda, because you ask, our lives are still moving along fast. And
Hmm.
as we get 35 on up, we have many, many things to do. So I ask for feedback. Sometimes I get it, most times I don't. And I thought I was the only one like that. Come to find out, John Lee Dumas, who is the godfather of podcasting, I have listened to him, and that is a challenge for all podcasters. So,
Mm,
what I strive to do is stick to my mission, and that is serve up the best content that I
mm,
can. And
mm.
and I look at how many and be consistent. Every Tuesday, I'm going to put that show out. I don't care if I'm repurposing. I'm putting a show out because people are looking for it. So
Yeah,
that I figure if you're looking for it, and I have give you the best, they're going to I, I'm going to meet what I promised you.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because you're valuing their time, and so it's not you're not disregarding that they have chosen to spend time with you, and so you're making that time relationable, so that
Yes.
they can talk to you, you can talk to them. I mean, you're making it where the interaction is there,
Yes.
and so I love that because that's important. Because a lot of people just on and just talk just to be I'm on, I did it, it's done. I'm on, I did it, it's done. But you have to be thinking about the receiver. Again, you have to go back, you have to think about the receiver. So you have some exciting news coming up, ma'am,
Oh my
and
goodness.
I'd like you to share it.
Well, you know what? I appreciate this. I really, really do because I am excited about it. I really, really am. Actually, there are a couple things coming
Okay.
up. Um, about 2 years ago, I did some pro bono work, completely free for a whole month, moderated a panel for 30 minutes. Every Wednesday, I was there, ready. And whatever panel this woman had, I was moderating that panel because she was getting ready for a summit that she was going to have. So, on down the road, a couple months ago, she got in contact with me and she asked me about my three favorite or my recent interviews. So I sent them to her. And then she said, by the way, I want you to send me something on Black Lives Matter. Can you write a piece on Black Lives Matter? I said, are you sure you want me to do this? I said, because I'm not going to bite my tongue. I have strong opinions about this. So long story short, I sent everything over to her. Three of those conversations were placed in her magazine, and
Oh,
verbatim what I wrote, Black Lives Matter, it was there. And if I was thinking, I would have brought the book. But oh my goodness, I wasn't even thinking. But it's Rome Lead. That's the name of the magazine. So I
okay.
am grateful for that. Now, Friday, she calls me, just this last Friday. She called me and she told me, I want you to be a part of my school because the first of the year, I am going to start for my nonprofit. I'm going to start teaching, have teaching series and sessions. I want you to come and teach podcasting. So, out of the blue, oh, I mean, Linda, that just blew my mind. I thought, God, I so thank you. Yes. And so what they don't learn in a month from her, from over on her platform, then I had the liberty to bring them back to my platform, which is
Yeah.
podcastacademyonline.com. And that's my baby also. If I'm not doing a podcast, if I'm not guesting on someone else's podcast, I'm teaching podcasting
Mm,
because I love this stuff. You know the power of it. We're
absolutely.
just trying to draw other people so that, come on, you're an entrepreneur. Come on, let's do this. Let the world. You know how many people are in the world? You know how many people are listening to podcasts? This thing is big, it's grow. Blogs are bigger, but
Mm-hmm.
podcasting is moving at
Coming.
such a, we can't afford to be on the outside looking in.
No.
So now that brings me to another piece of information. Black Writers on Tour is going
Mm.
virtual and it's taking place October the 10th. I'm so excited because I am going to be able to be on a panel talking about podcasting. And I'm going to bring it. I'm going to tell them the
Yes,
truth.
you
I'm going to
are. They are
come
in
with the.
for a treat.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Plus, I want to bring people back to my book, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, because it's one thing to get all excited and say, she did it, I can too, but then you don't do anything with it.
Mm,
I want people to have access to the book and know that if I could reinvent myself to become a podcaster, you
mm.
can too. If I can reinvent myself to become a writer, an author, an entrepreneur, you can too. You can reinvent yourself to be whatever you want to.
Absolutely.
And I need to let people know that. So it's my book, but then I bring on stories of five other fabulous women that I interviewed that very first year I was in podcasting. And the stories go from somebody doing time because they stole money, massive sum of money from a job that they were working, on over to a woman who now has her doctorate. And she had a hard time getting her high school diploma because she stayed behind taking care of her mother. So I have stories from women on so many different levels and all in the middle. And it's in my very first book. And you know how you write? Thank you, ma'am. You know how you write something and you forget about it? But the Lord
Yeah.
has reminded me a lot of people are right there right now. So I'm using October the 10th. It's from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock. People can go to my website and I'll have it posted there so that they know it's virtual. The link will be there, how to get on.
And it will be
So,
here. So your links to both events will be here. I will
yes.
definitely go back and make sure I add them because I want people. I have people ask me all the time about podcasting, and that's not my lane. So I love that I have I have one lane, starting small businesses. That's it. That's the whole gamut of it. But I love that I have people like you who are deep into it, and it's your passion, and you do it so well, and you're helping to create other podcasters, like you're giving other people an outlet of how they can create a very nice platform where they can live out what they want to share with the world, like
Yes.
and become a resource. So I love that. I love that. And we're here to support. And that's what we do. That's one of the gravy things that I get to do is if they're outside of my scope, I always have somebody I can connect them to. And so I am definitely going to refer the couple of people that I already know today who are wanting to start podcasts and trying to figure out how to do it well. And they may have even already started, using Anchor, but I'm sure they can take advantage of everything you're about to tell them.
Well, you know what, Linda? I'm glad that you said that because I have a lot of people come and they say, I took this class and I bought the mixer, I bought the mic, I bought
Mm,
all this equipment, and I didn't do anything with it
mm,
because they had these big ideas about podcasting but nobody was there to see to help them along. They took an
yeah.
hour course or maybe a webinar that was a couple of hours long, and they went step by step by step. But I found, in all honesty, and I have been podcasting while I was in corporate, and then when that incident happened, I was off the mic for a couple of years. So I lost my voice, and I
Mm,
needed to know how to get that back.
mm-hmm.
So I say all that to say is that you need somebody to show you the way, to
Yeah.
shave the learning curve off. Some
Yes.
things you need to do, some
Yes.
things you don't need to do.
Yes.
Some things I talk about you need to do, other people aren't talking about it. And what I teach people is what I learned. Can I tell you? The way I learned to build a podcast was organic so that it just comes to you. Everything that you need comes to you. And the foundation is substantial so that when you go out and you grow up, then that podcast, that structure is not going to fade you. Let me tell you, it's tried, tested, and proven because after a year, it wasn't even a year. I built my platform on out, picked up by a podcasting network that was just
Mm,
starting, but he was very selective. He didn't want just anybody on there because he was in the building phase himself, trying to get
mm-hmm.
people to listen. So
Mm-hmm.
here comes her business, her voice, her conversation. I'm feeling real good about it and everything. This network done picked me up. Yahoo! Do you know the head of the network listened to each and every podcast? He said he loved the
Wow.
concept and he learned. So then I understood, okay, this is not just for women, this is for men also. So I say all that to say he invested heavily in his new business. I shot up to over 1 million downloads just on
Wow.
that network, but I was built correctly. When you're built correctly, anything can happen.
Yes.
Now, I since have moved away because it was time for me to learn all that back room stuff for
Mm-hmm.
podcasting so I can teach others. That's what
Mm-hmm.
that was all about. So the same way, the same structure that got me to over 1 million downloads, I'm teaching people that same thing. Now, am I promising everybody they're going to get those numbers? No. But what I am guaranteeing, because you know how some people are, she said she got over, you know how we get. I'm
Yeah, yeah, I know
animated.
how to get. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we
But
can get out there. Yeah,
oh
we
yeah.
can.
But
Yeah,
I
but
just want people to know that I am teaching the same principles, the same way that I was taught, so that whatever you do, you want to monetize. Everybody should want to monetize their
mm-hmm.
podcast. If not now, then later. Build it so that it can do that for you. And I
Yes.
teach that. I don't shortcut. So I give people, I tell them, come on in and learn at your own pace because I understand how life can be. But for myself, I'm looking to really take on 4 people that are really, really, they want to do this. They
Mm-hmm.
know in their hearts they should have started yesterday and the day before yesterday. So I say that a person can really do this in 4 months and that's giving some wiggle worms of something happening,
Mm-hmm.
some week you're not on it. So I really am, I have the academy where people can come in and learn at their own pace. And every week we have the Q&A where I'm always available to answer
Lovely.
your questions. But I'm also looking for 4 people to take under my wing and let's build out. And instead of saying we'll do it at our own pace, no, we have a timeline and we're going to make that happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing. A lot of times, you just need an accountability person to help guide you and bounce. I have an accountability group I meet with every Sunday, and we're getting things done. I mean, it's three of us, and they're all over the country. And that accountability. I mean, having somebody of like mind who is willing to help you to move forward with what you said you want to do is great. I mean, it is. There's short of a mentor, I mean, that's the best situation.
It is. It really
Yeah.
is. Because we will sit and life has a way of becoming a bit too much
Yeah.
sometimes. And it's so easy if you get hung up on editing an episode and life hits you and the kids hit you and now we're homeschooling and the husband's maybe later, you have all these things going on. If you have somebody who's holding you accountable, reminding you about your why, reminding you what you have to offer to this world, what impact, not just influence, but the impact that you want to make to the world. Oh, that will take you so
Absolutely.
far.
That's life
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah.
That's life changing. It really is life changing. And if you have ambitions of being a podcaster, you have no idea how much your voice is needed. Like she mentioned, a million people out there, but if you have a passion for it, like if this is something you want to do, not something you're just trying, but something you truly want to do, you have a message that you've been given that you must deliver to the world. This is a way of doing it. I mean, this is a way of, if you're not a good writer, right? If you're not a good writer and you still have a lot that you want to contribute to the world, podcasting is the way to go because you can talk it out. A lot of people speak a lot better than they write. And so you can use your vocal skills to help bless people, to help free people, to help people move forward.
Yeah. Plus, you can always have that episode transcribed. You can
Yeah,
always transcribe it out, and it's perfect. I find that people write books. People, the giveaways the valuable giveaways, contents that we have on our lead pages, man, all it takes is one good interview. You give that bad boy away, and it's amazing. Just give it away because it's in recirculation. It's
right.
helping the number, it's helping people to know, like, and trust you. It's
Exactly, exactly.
positioning you as an expert. It's making people say, doggone it, I guess they do know what they're talking about. And they start tracking you. So
Yeah,
it's one. All you need is just
absolutely.
it's amazing.
One, the power of one. Just start. Just
Just
commit to start.
yeah.
Like we're in COVID, and I heard because I listen to sermons on Sundays. I listen to a lot of sermons, but one of the sermons I was listening to, he asked the question, "So what have you done during COVID?
Mm.
Like what results do you have to show what you've been doing for the last 7 months? What does that look like? What outtake, what output have you made toward what you say you want? Like we January 1st, everybody, the resolutions and the goals and all those things. Life slowed down so we can make those things realities. And so if you're interested in creating a podcast, then I am going to put her links here and I hope you will join her. And I hope that you will reach back and remind us of this broadcast so that we can know that you got what you needed. Because I'm sure when you reach out, you're going to get exactly what you needed and more. So of that, I'm very confident.
That's
My name is
awesome.
Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug, and I'm plugging you in to podcast extraordinaire Margo Lovett this evening. I also need to remind you that we're doing open enrollment for the LSMB Business Solutions training course that starts October 3rd. It's on Saturdays from 9 to 12. So if you listen to this and you want to join the class, 12 weeks of business overview. If you're trying to start a business, we have you from A to Z. We have you from A to done. So that's what we're doing in the startup boot camp. It's starting your business boot camp, and we're doing it on Saturday mornings from 9 to 12. So I will put the link to that in this broadcast as well. But we want you to reach out to these. I'll put the links to everything you need that's happened in this broadcast. So any parting words for them, ma'am?
Start. Start.
I
That's
love
it.
it.
I
I
mean, the
love
Lord, the
it.
Lord gave me an acronym for START,
Okay.
because that's where it's at. We have to stop talking and we have to take action. Because you know what, Linda? There were a lot of people this time last year. There were some people that were talking about, and I don't know them, but I wager there's some people talking about doing something this time last year. This year, they're not with us. They're no
Mm,
longer
have
on the
mercy.
face of this earth.
Have
When we
mercy.
look at how many people were taken out by COVID
Yes.
globally,
Yes. And still getting taken out. Yes.
still. So, how long are we going to talk? How long are we going to deny the world of what we're supposed to give?
Yes.
Because, God is not wasteful.
That's
If
right.
he gives you something to do or to say, a gifting, it's up to you to cultivate it and give that out.
Yeah.
And
That's
we are,
there's a whole parable behind that. The
yes,
10, right? He gave them out, and then one buried his in the sand. I mean, he buried his waiting on the Lord to come back. He was like, but I gave you this, and you
mhm,
sat on it. You're supposed to multiply it, make it grow, make it do what it's supposed to do, deliver it to the world. Like
yes,
that's why you were given that burning in your belly, that idea that won't go away. Like regardless of what it is, he gives us. And what's funny is like Steve Harvey was one of my mentors when I first started, and what he says is, Einstein about the preview is the whole dream is the preview of what's to come. Like you've already seen it happening in your imagination. You already feel the burn in your belly. You already feel like I need to get this done. And so let's stop talking and
mhm.
start doing. That's what it's
That-
about.
that's it. That's what it's
That's
all
what it's
about.
about. Absolutely. So if you'll hold on, I'll close us out. I'll see you all next Sunday at 7 o'clock. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. Today I'm plugging you into podcasts. If you're wanting a podcast, if you've been dreaming about it, talking about it, have pages written about it, if it's time to get moving. So I've given you the resource and I hope that you'll use it. Please get in contact with her as soon as possible today. It's going to take me about 5 minutes to put her information in this feed, but I want you to reach out to her and I want you to reach back and tell me how it went. Okay, you guys have a great evening and I'll see you next Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Have a great one.